Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Jamie Smith. I'm the Director of Commerce for the UK and Ireland for Ascendant Technology. Over the next sort of half an hour, I'll try and go through an hour's worth of material to give you a bit of a holistic view of the work we're currently doing with our clients, looking at bringing their internet and web and multi-channel experiences back into both their stores if they're retailers or into their locations if they're distributors, manufacturers and wholesalers. Okay? So a lot of this is going to take you on a journey and talk about those clients and also give you an idea of some of the research and development we're currently investing in, which we'll be launching in the next few months up to Christmas. So a little bit of who we are to start with. Ascendant are a global system integrator who've delivered a number of diverse solutions across multi-technology spaces. My specific speciality looks at e-commerce, e-trading in the diverse from B2C to B2B, providing discrete consultancy and various experiences, and I call them immersive trading experiences, looking at really bringing the client closer to the trading experience to try and help them to trade more and become stickier, and utilizing the technologies at our disposal today. Over the last 7 years, we've implemented 65 successful e-trading solutions globally, covering clients like Harley-Davidson, Red Bull, through to JD Sports and their mobile experience today. Okay? And when I talk about successful, it's successful because one of the mantras of our business is to align technology and business. So one of my missions is to work with our clients and understand what they are trying to achieve with their business, their brand, their strategy, and their direction, not only looking at implementing a solution. Because at the end of the day, as you will all know here, e-trading is not deliver a solution, it's an evolution, helping to guide, to provide you with the advice to move forward over the next 15, 20 years, not the next 2 to 3. So thinking of the journey, if I use a retail example, it will help to paint the picture. So realistically today, we as individuals need to be able to interconnect and interact at home. And on that journey, move from our home to being on the move, whether it be within a vehicle, whether it be at an event, in a place, and taking us then into the store and trying to draw us in. Rather than waiting for us to come, bring us to that store or bring us to that location to interact with people, because people buy from people. And then finally, ending on a topic that I've been working on with my team for the last sort of 3 months, which is the concept of a coffee shop. And the simple example, which I'll talk about a bit later, is think of when you go into a Waterstone store, one of the things you're used to having is you'll look at books, you'll browse, you'll then interact, and at one point you will sit down and have a coffee. But what happens at that point? It's a point of stasis, or is it? So in this, we're talking about interacting on the web, via TVs and smart TVs, through consoles. More often than not now, our children and our friends use, play, interact on consoles, download media, download games. They're becoming more immersive. Take us on the move. Really understand where we are, what we're doing, how we're doing it with presence zones. How I actually move through environments. A discussion I had with HMV around about 3 years ago was how do you actually take your business on a journey to include not just selling in your store, but if somebody goes to an event or a concert, really interact with that individual. Understand they're there to see a celebrity or a singer. And how do you then provide the interactive services, not necessarily just the commodities that they want on their devices as they're with you. And also take you through things like biometrics, which we'll talk a bit about in a minute. In store, looking at kiosks, tablets, interactive point of sales and other devices that allow you to be totally and cohesively interconnected to allow store associates and sales assistants to make the right decisions at the right time to enhance the sale and enhance the customer experience. And finally, with the coffee shop, bringing all the other pieces together to try and think of reviews, discussions, sharing, community, interaction. But behind that is driving sale, driving ROI to the business. So the scenario I'll walk you through is really building a birthday celebration and the sort of the steps that will be walked through in it. So Sarah needs to arrange a birthday party for her daughter, organize that, be able to understand what her daughter wants from a point of view of present and having her friends round, and more important, interact with her husband and get her husband to help her to plan items for the day, pick up items. More importantly, Sarah is at home for the day to plan this. Mike isn't. He's working. So how does he interact? What goes on in his day? And what's the culmination? To make their daughter's day the best day possible. So let's take a journey with Sarah and then talk about some real examples. So Sarah gets up, Sarah picks up a mobile device and says, I have to plan a birthday party today. Like with all of us, she'll pick up her smartphone, she'll start to Google, she'll start to look for where can I start to do party planning. After she does that search, she's provided with a list of potential places that could help her do the party planning. As it happens, she's provided with a store she knows very, very well. And she starts to say, well, okay, I can see my favorite store is in that top list. I want to work with them, but I don't want to use the real estate on my mobile. I want to actually look at this in a different way. So she goes to her interactive TV set. She walks down, sits down, brings up the browser, starts looking at that site, understanding what they provide and how they do it, while she sits there just relaxing in her armchair. More importantly, she's able to then see what they provide. She can then choose to book online. So she can choose the banners, the cake, she can have them delivered to her home, she can set them up there and then, and more importantly say, I'll deliver these goods, but there's other things that I may need. I want balloons. There's a balloon service available to me on the site. So the example I show you at the top, Harry and David, we do exactly that with them, where we actually take the fruit from the orchard through the process of it being grown to being sold on the site and providing the client with the ability to choose not just what is grown and ready, but provide them with the complete basket or gift tower, which then says, I provide you the service being delivered and sold, but more importantly, you can actually come to the store and have the other items provided. So the balloons can be blown up, and because she provides her loyalty details, it gives her a click and collect service that she can collect from the store. More importantly, customer service are alerted to this and says, you know, we can provide you with a chef for the evening because you've had so many loyalty points with us. So tying together the online experience, how I want to interact, more importantly, tying me to the organization and then providing me a value-added service growing from that. So Sarah's question is, well, what can I do next? Well, she remembers that sitting on her fridge, she actually has a buy two, get one free for a theme park locally to her. So she takes her mobile device, she scans the QR code sitting on the fridge, and it immediately provides her with the ability to reserve online the tickets she needs for that event in the day. She decides to do the reservation but not complete because she needs to discuss whether this fits with what her daughter wants to do later. She also notices that she can actually reserve the commodity to be provided to her when they arrive at the theme park. So she books specifically a princess castle for her to pick up. She realizes that Mike is away and traveling, and she looks at his calendar online, again through the same device, to say, actually, I need to contact Mike to see if he can help me to collect these tickets and these goods later. So how do we do this? So with people like Tommy Hilfiger and the Cheesecake Factory in the US, we've taken not just the web experience, but also taken and brought the client into the flow of the site. In the case of the Cheesecake Factory specifically, when you go to their site, you can buy cheesecakes online. More importantly, you can go to the restaurants. You can talk to the maitre d'. You can book a reservation in the restaurant. You can book your drinks and your hors d'oeuvres at the bar. You can actually walk around the location and look at the building and actually see, how do I want to interact? Is this somewhere I want to go, to be immersed in the experience, to feel that I actually want to dine here? More importantly, what it has done for the Cheesecake Factory is drive up sales of cheesecakes by around about 25%, because clients who go to the restaurants and eat also buy the cheesecakes to deliver to home. And that's tied to then giving this anywhere, anyhow service. Order here, reserve, deliver. Provide me with the ability to have customer loyalty, understand how I'm with you if I'm in different states, which restaurants I'm going to, having presence zones to tell me as I pass through state boundaries what restaurants are available to me to use. And that's also important to tie together all of the back-end operations. So how customer services see each of those orders, how they can interact with them, relate to them, get the data almost real time so that they can pick up the phone and have a proper, sensible discussion with the client rather than saying, I'll come back to you later, or the client says, do you know who I am? Here's my details. On from that, bringing in the ability to interact in various devices with things like QR codes. Having applications that allow you to connect directly to the trading experience rather than trying to manhandle these and bring these together. So let's go on the move. So Mike's in his car and he's going to his meeting. Sarah's already done her piece. So Sarah rings Mike, mobile phone goes off, it's sitting in his cradle in his car. She explains what she's done already with regards to starting the reservation process for the tickets, looking at the commodity she's got at the theme park waiting to be picked up, but also how she's starting to plan the party. She said, asks Mike where he is. He looks at his sat-nav. He said, well, actually, you know, I'm close to the theme park at the moment, and the meeting's only 10 minutes away. So what I'll do for you, if you can tell me more details, is I'll help you finish off this process. So Mike pulls over into a lay-by, takes out his iPad, and what Sarah then says is, well, I've got on my interactive TV at the moment the booking for this specific theme park day out, or on a mobile device. Can I share it with you? Can I co-shop with you? He says, sure, yeah, throw me the URL and I'll put it on my iPad. So from a peer-to-peer co-shopping perspective, she immediately shares the screen with Mike, she drives the experience, she interacts with him both on the phone and also through instant messenger peer-to-peer to allow her to then make the final decision. And Mike said, actually, I think 8 people is more than good enough. I think the discount is good. Are there any other offers the theme park can give us? Is it one that Jessica's been to before? So in this, he takes ownership, he makes some changes to a few things, passes ownership back to Sarah, and she then completes the transaction there and then. At the same time, Mike notices while looking at that reservation, there are other offers open to him. So he closes his iPad, gets back on the road, and decides before he goes to his meeting, he's got time, he'll go to the theme park. So as he drives into the theme park, his mobile device, because his wife and his account is tied to the same order, it notices his mobile phone and says, hey, do you know that there's actually discount on parking for the day if you pay here and now, 20% off? So he sent a 2D barcode to his mobile device. He's able to utilize that after he parks. So he parks, he goes up to a kiosk, pings the 2D barcode, it gives him the 20% off. More importantly, it says, because you've done this order in advance, would you like to book a lunch with one of our characters for your daughter to complete the experience? Perfect opportunity to actually bring them from the device to the location and cross-sell a service. He said, what a great idea. He said, my wife's done everything else. This is my special treat for my daughter. I'm actually going to book the character for the day and pay now. He's able to walk away feeling he's given something special. Now, exactly these sort of things we've been working with people like JD Sports. JD at the moment use an interactive iPad application in a lot of their major high street stores, designed for their store associates to save the sale. So their store associates can look at the interaction of their clients and say, hey, this person's looking for a while, I'll go over to them, I'll talk to them, I'll share the experience online. The customer can not just be browsed with me, they can register on the device, they can see their account, they can share, they can then purchase and collect in-store there and then, or they can have it reserved or have a ticket picked or other things. More importantly, one of the things we're looking at with JD at the moment is bringing that more immersive. And in a moment, I'll talk a little bit more about biometrics and tying together how when we walk into a store or we walk into a location, how that location reacts with us. And at the moment, we're in the process of completing a small piece of R&D with one of our partners in Italy, looking at tying together immersive, real-time, almost Minority Report type experiences where the store associate is directly informed of the location of an individual. And this is tied to a piece of consultancy I did with Selfridges around about 18 months ago, looking at how you can look at really segmenting your customer base to understand, I don't want to necessarily look at my small end my large consumer base, which is high volume, but I want to look at my high end buying customers who want to buy a dress that's worth £10,000. And how do I find a personal shopper? But I'll come back to that in a little bit. That's driven into providing responsive technologies. Home Depot, we have a single responsive template for all of their devices. This shows the iPad and mobile, but it works across various different devices, interacting with things like 2D barcodes, QR codes, various other interactive environments. And finally, with Costco, Behind the scenes with Costco in the US is looking at their whole warehouse facility. So understanding not just what we've done at the front end for them around the actual trading with their consumers, but understanding the movement of goods. Understanding where the person is within the pick and pack process, how long they stand looking at a shelf unit, what items are sitting on that shelf unit, and how to actually organize all of that warehouse space to maximize the throughput of the pick and pack process. So let's finish off the journey. So Sarah now arrives in the store to collect her balloons. She notices a large panel. Now the large panel, a bit like the ones that we see in M&S today, the sort of the 10, 15 foot high panels just showing interactive video, those panels can be completely interactive. And what you can do is, as she steps up to this, you can walk up and it's showing the video, and as the video starts to move, it actually prompts you for various goods. Do you see the dress that's being worn? Do you see the ensemble, the shoes, the items? More importantly, you could touch the screen, choose the item she wants. Now, she stands there looking at this video. The mannequin standing next to this video has a camera in the eye. It's watching her movements. By this time, it's already gathered analytic information about her height, her weight, approximate age, sex, hair color. It starts to then provide that data back. If she's got an account, it can also have a registered account for her as an individual with specific biometric information tied to it. This information is then sent directly to that in-store store associate iPad application as a prompt, as an IM message to say, please go up and talk to Sarah, because she spent a lot of time looking at this panel. I think it would be useful to help her, because now she's frozen the video. She's looking at this specific dress. The store associate walks over, has a chat with her and says, would you like to see the dress? Walks her away from the interactive panel, walks her over to the rail, shows her the dress, says, is this the right one? Is this the color? Is this the fit? She loves the experience, says, yes, that's exactly what I want. Can I try it on? She tries it on and comes back. The store associate at this point says, okay, what I'm going to do is reserve your order. But I'm going to now take you to one of the interactive panels we've got to allow you to now browse at your own leisure. More of an interactive kiosk. A piece of work currently we're working on with a partner called Ampliance, looking at tying together the e-trading experience with a really immersive shopping experience in the store. And with this, she's able to choose her ensemble, add and increase her basket size, and add other items to it. At the end of it, she says, actually, what I want to do is collect that at the door on the way out with my balloons. And she ties the two orders together. I think I'm done, she says. Time for a coffee. So now, looking forward, and the R&D, so with this, obviously again tying to the things I've said about JD, with JD's interactive kiosk, the Queue Buster, tying together both the iPad and the kiosk to bring two elements in line so you understand a cohesive order between both channels. Looking at biometrics and tying together not just general biometric information that is collected and stored in a database, but tying that to real-time trading information to allow the trading engine to promote, to interact, and to grow the sale, and use that raw data in many different ways. This is exactly the sort of technology we've been working with Costco to look at how do you organize the warehouse. So it's not just tied to things like retail. I've talked about Ampliance, and the last thing is the super SKU, the ability to have a super SKU anywhere, the 2D barcodes, and interact with those elements. So to the coffee shop. Sarah arrives at the coffee shop and sits down. She has a nice glass table sitting in front of her. She sits the coffee cup down on the table, and what happens is the table starts to come to life. Now, this could be done via a touch-sensitive screen or some of the technology we're doing at the moment around barcodes and other interactive touch-sensitive devices to detect the item arriving. The coffee cup arrives, a button appears on the screen to say refill. She then places her loyalty card in the spot provided, and the panel comes to life. All of this data is provided by the back-end system just to an interactive panel. She's provided with her loyalty points, how many points they're worth in pounds, when her last order was performed, when the last offers were available to her and what's available. She can also order and look at those offers. She hits the offers button and she sees a coffee maker offer at the moment for her specifically based on some of the coffee she's been drinking. She also sees the ratings and reviews of her friends appear in the panel. So this all starts to come to life, but more importantly, what she needs to understand is, I have my dress for the night, I've booked the party, but I now need the meal. So she opens up the interactive library and looks at a book. So she brings up the book, flips the pages, looks for a meal that fits the night. She picks the meal and says, actually, I need a bottle of wine for the adults because the kids are going to be having a great party, but when we get home, I'd like a bottle of wine to finish the evening on. But I know nothing about wine. So I found a bottle and it looks okay, but more importantly, I need to talk to somebody who knows. I need to ask a friend. So what do I mean? Well, you'll notice, and I haven't really pointed out so far, but when we look down at the bottom, immediately her loyalty card went down. Interactive real-time services that are chargeable directly to her account appear. She can open a Skype phone conversation with her friend or other interactive video conferencing. She starts to talk to her friend Linda. Linda knows wine. She starts to talk to her about the wines, which wine would fit. Again, the co-shopping scenario comes up. She shares part of the panel and says, what do you think? She said, yep, that Merlot's a great bottle. Take that one. That's the one you should go for. She said, so I'll put that onto my bill as well. Because it's one experience, she adds that to the same order to be collected at the door after she finishes her coffee. Finally, she's had such a great experience, she goes to Facebook and finishes. Great day, talk to friends, interact. All of these elements, and the reason the coffee table is such a key driver for my business unit at the moment and my focus, is because we have many of these technologies at our fingertips today, but none cohesive enough. And although my specific unit focuses on e-trading, the other technology wings in my business focus on large-scale portals, social interaction. People like Aviva and Standard Life use large-scale portals for their whole social business. And tying together that social interaction, that portal-esque nature to it, to your trading experience and who you are, suddenly brings to life what I'm viewing as the next evolution of immersive experiences that will really drive the evolution of buying from other people in stores. Some of the other clients we've done a lot of the social elements with and tying these elements, people like Harley Davidson, where we've done everything from dealer network interaction, dealer collaboration, dealer sales, to commodity, to merchandising, to social reviews, to interactive blogging, various different social providers, interactive rich media provided from different media sources. So allowing you to have not just one web content management engine, but combining IBM's web content management, two open source engines and Documentum into one experience that provides Harley with the ability to actually manage all of their content served into one experience. And finally, a piece of work we did, or we've just finished with BASF in Brazil, looking at geolocation and geospatial information, tying farmers to produce, weather patterns, and interactions with that to allow them to understand where they are, how they interact. That also ties to the work we've been doing with Harry and David, looking at taking the produce from the vine to the consumer. Where do I want my apples picked from? So I think we've got a little bit of time left. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take questions from the floor.